I am so tired of you acting like you speak for the people of the state of Indiana or the city of Indianapolis. You do not speak for me or anyone I know. Now listen, you two jerks. Jerks on the right.
Good morning, everybody. Hello.
Hi.
Greetings, salutations. I will tell you what's coming up on the show. You guys are going to have to excuse my voice this morning. I have a little bit of a flu, something or other going on because when it rains, it pours. Coming up on the show, Trump versus the world. JD does not care, Margaret. And Jewel. You guys remember Jewel?
My hands are small, I know. Jewel.
She sings like a goat. She's very sorry for singing, you guys.
Very sorry.
Very sorry. She's sorry. All that and so much more coming up on the show. You guys can check out all of the things at chicksontheright.com/links. Please do that. I sound horrible this morning. I'm so sorry.
Sound a little husky. Just a little husky. You're on the husky side.
Little Brenda Vaccaro / Demi Moore-ish back in the day. Yeah, I have a little bit like there's some sort of flu thing going on this weekend. I'm really sorry. That in addition to taking care of my husband, in addition to doing ranch chores, in addition to driving, in addition to all the things, I'm a little homicidal today. Not going to lie. So it's going to be a great show.
But he's on the mend, and this week is not going to be that drastically crazy. It's just a little crazy.
He's doing great. He's doing really, really well. He's doing the laps around the house. I'm making him get up. He's not happy with me. And I'm like a drill sergeant, you guys. I'm like, get up, do your laps. Whoop-pow. I do that. So he's doing really well. Thank you for all your prayers and well wishes and all that. So yeah. All is well. But here we are. I know it's a little weird this week. The schedule's a little weird, but we're going to get through it, you guys. We're going to get through it.
I mean, 3 out of the 5 days are only 15 minutes late. So tomorrow we'll start at 8:15 Eastern. Same with Thursday, Friday. Wednesday we'll start at 10:30 Eastern.
That's right.
That different. It's just a little different.
Just a teeny bit. Like 3 days is basically the same. 2 days. Yeah. It's just a lot of driving, you guys. My daughter lives 30 minutes away from her school. So it's like an hour round trip.
And then add like all the swim stuff on top of that. And your life is cray.
Jennifer, he had major back surgery. So spinal surgery. So yeah. So he's recovering. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. You guys don't look at any kind of investments that you may have today. Just don't.
Don't do it. Just don't do it.
Do not look at it. Everything is tumbling. The market is like 3% down. There's $1 trillion wiped off of the Dow today because China has an AI that is apparently much cheaper and just as good, if not better, than OpenAI. And so tech stocks are tanking. So just don't look at any of it. Okay. I promise.
Because it'll snap back.
Things will always right themselves eventually.
Right.
But just
if they do this,
don't look at it this morning.
Don't freak out. It's fine. Nobody freak out.
Nobody freak out. Also, if you are a person who struggles to get your fruits and veggies, let us remind you about this amazing product, Field of Greens from Brickhouse Nutrition. Field of Greens is a green health powder that helps supplement you if you do not eat all the fruits and veggies that you're supposed to every day. And I know you don't. So don't try to pretend that you're some sort of perfect health person and you eat all the fruits and veggies that are recommended, because you don't. It's not even possible. I really think it's not possible to eat as much fruits and veggies as is recommended. I think you have to be like an actual rabbit to do that. So if you can't do it and you want a delicious alternative, Field of Greens green powder is amazing. It comes in a few different flavors. You just mix a little bit, like a scoop of it, into water, shake it up. You can also use it in smoothies. Really, really great. And it actually improves your health. In fact, they say that if you don't notice a difference at your next doctor visit, you'll get your money back. So you can fuel your own health journey with Field of Greens. You can use code CHICKS at checkout at fogchicks.com. Use code CHICKS. You're going to get 20% off. fogchicks.com is the website. It's delicious. We wouldn't take it otherwise. We promise. Fogchicks.com. Use code chicks. All right. Let's get to the things and the stuff, shall we? We'll kick it off with stuff that you may have missed out on over the weekend, things that happened. There was a lot of stuff that happened. First of all, there's going to be a State of the Union address or an address to the joint session of Congress, or at least an invitation has been extended by Mike Johnson to President Trump for March 4th. So that promises to be good, because if Stephen Miller is back to writing the speeches, it's going to be a phenomenal speech. And Democrats are going to be so mad about how much everything has already changed.
I was going to say, plus there's going to be a lot that's going to be done already by March 4th, 2025. Can you imagine? Right? He's already getting crap done.
So much is getting done.
Yeah,
I mean, what a productive first week, man.
Yeah,
so productive.
I know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
This was an odd thing that I saw about Elon Musk and Susie Wiles. So Susie Wiles is President Trump's chief of staff, and she has reportedly limited Elon Musk's direct access to Trump. In fact, she has limited the direct access to President Trump of a lot of people, because she's trying, and so far so good, she's trying to prevent any leaks of any stuff that he doesn't want leaked out. She's trying to make sure that there's a lid on the leaks, and so far so good. Everything's been going off without a hitch so far. So I don't know. I don't think this is necessarily something mean to Elon. I think she's just trying to get some control over access, which I think this is probably a good thing.
I think this is great. I like her. I think it's great.
I think it's probably a good thing too.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of stuff getting done, according to Harris Faulkner, between 75 and 80,000 of the over 300,000 missing migrant kids have been located. So this was even happening due to the Trump administration before the election. And so
within 4 days.
Within 4 days.
They did that in 4 days. And it makes you, and she was saying on the air, what the hell? I'm paraphrasing. What the hell has Mayorkas been doing? If they did this in 4 days, what was the Biden administration doing? They don't care.
Insisting that their hands were tied unless there was an act of Congress. Give me a break.
Exactly. So when AOC tries to claim that she and her entire party care about children, and like she gets in her white suit and she's like all, feigning outrage about children. And I care about you don't care about kids in cages. You don't care about kids at all. You don't care. Because 300,000 plus, it's not just 300,000, it's 300,000 plus children have been trafficked across our border. And we found them, this administration that we put into power found 75 to 80,000 in 4 days. Like what? They had 4 years.
Yeah.
It's great. You guys, what is even going on? It means that they don't want to find these children.
Of course they don't. They wanted to create an issue that they insisted Congress would solve. And that was bullshit. We all know it was bullshit. Whenever Biden would say, oh, my hands are tied, the border's secure. It was all nonsense. All of it was nonsense. And we're seeing that in real time. So that was great news. And then speaking of Trump, this was just a neat little aside that I saw, that apparently Corey Comperatore, the fellow that was shot alongside, Donald Trump at that rally in Pennsylvania months ago, last July, his widow says that Trump called her every day for almost 2 weeks after her husband died, which I didn't know. And I just thought that was something that was important to share. I thought that was really neat.
Yeah, it is really, really neat that he did that. Meanwhile, you've got, remember the 13 soldiers in Afghanistan that perished? And like, I guarantee you that Biden doesn't even know any of their names.
He never reached out, never would take a phone call, never acknowledged their names personally, ever.
Right.
Just disgusting. What a difference, man.
He never got Laken Riley's name right.
That's right. That's right. Also, this was another thing that I saw over the weekend that caught my attention, and that is that the CIA is now saying they've declassified an assessment that proves that the COVID-19 pandemic was the result of an accidental lab leak. This is according to an assessment by the new CIA director, John Ratcliffe. And if you guys remember, Tom Cotton wanted to write an op-ed to the New York Times about this back in March of 2020. And he wasn't allowed because it was called incendiary, irresponsible, and racist to make such a suggestion.
Isn't that
and
crazy?
Now, of course, all the conspiracy theories end up being true. This is just another example. Isn't that incredible?
It is incredible. I think the other day, I'm sure you guys have seen similar things where it's like, if you are unvaxxed, or if you didn't want to wear a mask, or if you kind of like went against, if you were a conspiracy theorist during that time, you basically resisted like billions and billions of dollars of propaganda.
Yeah.
Like you were able to think critically during all of that, where people were just saying awful things about you. So congratulations. Congrats to you.
What you're about to see next is pretty amazing, because we got to talk about the reason that we titled the show today that it's Trump versus the world is because there's a lot, big parts of the world are feeling the heat from Trump. Let's just put it that way. But one of the most interesting videos I thought from the weekend was this interview with President Putin of Russia, who actually said, and I couldn't believe it, but he actually said, we probably wouldn't have had this Russian-Ukrainian war had Trump's victory in 2020 not been stolen from him. You guys, behold.
If he had been the president, if the victory wasn't stolen from him in 2020, maybe the Ukrainian crisis that arose in 2022 would have never appeared.
Oh my God.
I know, right? There's so many people. There's so many people on X that are like, they trust him over our legacy media, which is absurd, right? I mean, it's totally absurd that people are saying that. But imagine the
understandable.
Right. But imagine the difference in our world and in our country had Trump won. Just think about what things would look like. And the fact we wouldn't be spending money, all the money that we've spent on that war.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh. And the money that we would be spending on our people and our infrastructure and disasters and things that have happened on our soil, that we've taken money that should be spent on our people and we've just pushed it to Ukraine. Like that's what Biden is. So it is pretty, like you can look at it like retrospectively and be like, gosh, it's just awful. But what a difference if he would have been the president.
And now it's clear that both Zelensky and Putin are wanting to come to the negotiation table because Trump is in office. And so I suspect that conflict is going to end sometime within hopefully the next few to several months, because Trump is not going to continue to send precious money and time and resources to Ukraine endlessly without some sort of negotiating. And so that's happening. And it's more of the Trump effect. One of the other things that you guys remember Trump saying early on was that he was looking at Greenland he was looking at Greenland as a potential, like, how do we involve Greenland more in helping the world's security? And so there is somebody in Greenland somebody in Denmark who is taking offense to that. And I just thought this was hilarious. This is just like some rando Danish member of parliament who's super mad that Trump has been making all these advances about Greenland. And here is what he said.
Dear President Trump, listen very carefully. Greenland has been part of the Danish kingdom for 800 years. It's an integrated part of our country. It is not for sale. Let me put it in words you might understand. Mr. Trump, f*** off.
Oh,
okay.
Damn.
Okay. Well, he may kind of understand that a little bit. Okay.
I just feel like that means there's an open door for discussion.
Yeah. He'll probably take that and go, okay, well, we can negotiate. It's the art of the deal.
Yeah. We brought it up. People are talking about it. That was the whole intent, right? Is to start this conversation. And oh man, did he ever start it? Oh man. And then yesterday, liberals were freaking out so hard over a threat that Trump made to Colombia because they were not accepting a whole plane full of their people that were getting deported from the United States headed back home to Colombia. And apparently they were refusing the flights. And so Trump was pissed. And here is what he wrote. Please read this.
I was just informed that 2 repatriation flights from the United States with a large number of illegal criminals were not allowed to land in Colombia. This order was given by Colombia's socialist president, Gustavo Petro, who is already very unpopular amongst his people. Petro's denial of these flights has jeopardized the national security and public safety of the United States, so I have directed my administration to immediately take the following urgent and decisive retaliatory measures. Emergency 25% tariffs on all goods coming into the United States. In 1 week, the 25% tariffs will be raised to 50%. A travel ban and immediate visa revocations on the Colombian government officials and all allies and supporters. Visa sanctions on all party members, family members, and supporters of the Colombian government. Enhanced customs and border protection inspections of all Colombian nationals and cargo on national security grounds. IEEPA Treasury, banking, and financial sanctions to be fully imposed. These measures are just the beginning. We will not allow the Colombian government to violate its legal obligations with regard to the acceptance and return of the criminals they forced into the United States. I love this so much.
Oh my God. And I think he may have tweeted that like from the golf course. Like he was just like, whatever, I'll deal with this.
Right.
We can deal with this. And he sent that out. And then at first, Petro wrote a big, giant, long tweet in response, like trying to be like, put him up essentially, and was like, we don't need you. You know, it was like this insolent kind of ridiculous tweet back. But then within an hour, you guys, within an hour, there was a release from, whoops, that's not the right thing. Sorry. There was a release from the president's office saying the government of Colombia has agreed to all of President Trump's terms. They even retweeted it from the White House. So do not mess, Colombia. Yeah. You just do not mess.
Of course. Isn't the Colombian president the one that's having an affair with the transgender? Isn't he the one?
There was like video and pictures. I think that was a few years back, but yeah, like this guy is.
Yeah.
This guy's a fruitcake.
Yeah, he's a little fruity. Yeah, a little fruity. Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure they're just like, okay, well, we're gonna resist. Oh, we won't resist that much. We're gonna go ahead and accept your terms. We're gonna right. Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, but this could have been done for eons, you guys. This is, it just shows you that Trump is the first one that has balls that's willing to do this. He's willing to play ball, and then Colombia is like, all right, we accept your terms.
In fact, we'll send one of our own planes to go and get the people. Right. We'll go ahead and send our own plane. Like it's
remarkable. So it is remarkable when you actually have a president that has balls, that's willing to go to bat for the American people, and then Colombia is like, okay, yeah, we're going to do it. And he's starting small, right? He's starting with Colombia. He's starting with some of these smaller countries, and then he's like, I'm going to see what happens, what they do. He's going to start doing it with some of the bigger ones. This is what he's doing. Well,
and they are freaking out. In fact, there was this memo that now I forget the name of the alliance of countries in that area. This memo will say it is the, let's see, Latin America and Caribbean countries that is called, I can't even read the memo. Can you? It's like too small for me to read.
Oh my God, there's no way I can read. It's CELAC, a state of
CELAC. Yeah.
CELAC, CELAC.
Yeah.
Is that what I see? Yeah.
It's basically Latin America and Caribbean countries. The president of Honduras has called an emergency meeting of all of their leaders to figure out how to cope with President Trump after Colombia's tactics completely backfired. They are freaking out.
Here's a tip for you. Don't send your freaking criminals to us.
And when we send them back, take them.
Take them back.
They're your people.
Yeah. Don't empty your prisons into our country.
Exactly.
Jackholes.
So Scott Jennings had some things to say about this entire Colombian escapade. Here he is last night.
The reason Donald Trump had to resort to these tariffs and sanctions and punishments today is because the president of Colombia refused to accept a flight of migrants. He said he wouldn't take them. Donald Trump said, we're going to enter the F around and find out portion of this conversation.
Yeah.
And he hit him with sanctions and tariffs. And now tonight, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, says Congress is going to back him up on that. He's putting Colombia, he's putting the rest of this hemisphere on notice that you are not dealing with the same president that you were. You're dealing with someone who is taking illegal immigration seriously. Now, within an hour of making that threat, the president of Colombia said, whoa, I'll send my own plane to pick these people up. So obviously, he got their attention. And they'll have learned a valuable lesson that Donald Trump is taking immigration, illegal immigration, seriously. This is real leadership, but it sends a message to everybody else in the hemisphere. Do not test us. This is not Biden and Harris. This is Trump and Vance. We mean business.
Right.
We
It's like
mean business.
he started with Colombia and like the rest of them are like, oh shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so this is, it's what's to come.
Isn't it just great to feel like we have an actual leader
Mhm.
back in the White House instead
Yeah.
of some asleep vegetable?
Week 1, you guys. Week 1.
So much
So great.
accomplished. Oh my God.
I know.
The guy does not rest. It's amazing. Speaking of rest, that's something that you need and that you will hopefully get. But I know one thing that you did take advantage of was the fact that we are customers of allfamilypharmacy.com/chicks.
I did take
And-
advantage of that. Yes.
Yeah. One thing that is awesome about allfamilypharmacy.com/chicks is that you don't have to go to where there's a bunch of sick people in some urgent care to
Mhm.
get yourself the antibiotics that you need to fight off the funk, as Daisy has right now. You're on Doxy. I think you
I
started on Doxy.
I started taking Doxy over the weekend. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's so handy to have some of your basic antibiotics, ivermectin if you need it, some of the most basic medications that you need on hand so that when something hits you, because it hits all of us at one point or another, you are prepared. And that is the best thing ever, to not have to deal with urgent care or a lot of rigmarole or waiting for your own doctor to get in to see them. Have some of the most basic drugs that you need on hand. They've got like 200 plus different kinds of medication at allfamilypharmacy.com/chicks. When you use code CHICKS10, you'll also get 10% off of your entire order. allfamilypharma.com/chicks. Code CHICKS10. Speaking of badass leaders, Tom Homan, treasure. What a treasure. So he's been making the rounds. He was on with that hag, Martha Raddatz, who was all pissy with him about, are we going to see these deportation flights every single day? And the way that he handles her is just epic. Check this out.
I want to go back to those military flights going south. As you said, we have never seen that before. Is that going to be a constant commitment from the U.S. military every single day to take deportees out?
Yes.
So is this what we will see every single day, ending in what the president has promised is millions and millions being deported?
Yes. But you can see the numbers steadily increase.
The estimates of perhaps those who have been convicted or arrested in the past, 700,000 to over 1 million. So after you do that, then you go after everybody who is there illegally.
If you're in the country illegally, you're on the table, because it's not okay to, violate laws of this country. You got to remember, every time you enter this country illegally, you violated a crime under Title 8, United States Code 1325. It's a crime. So if you're in the country illegally, you got a problem. And that's why I'm hoping those who are in the country illegally who have not been ordered removed by the federal judge should leave.
She asked the question like 40 times,
I know. Like what? You heard his answer.
Yeah. He's like, yeah.
Well,
What
and now
part
there's
of
the restrictions about like ICE can't go into schools. They can't go into medical offices. They can't, there's all these restrictions, or there were, about where ICE could actually detain, people that were here illegally. And now those restrictions have been lifted because of course they should be lifted. And she was pissy about that too. Here is how she went after him about that.
Arrest. What criminals are hiding in schools?
Look,
Middle schools, elementary schools. You going to go into those?
How many MS-13 members are the age of 14 to 17? Many of them. So, look, if it's a national security threat, public safety threat, and What you need to understand is a case by case. Name another agency, another law enforcement agency that has those type of requirements that they can't walk into a school or a doctor's office or a medical campus. No other agencies have those standards.
Do I want my 14-year-old going to school with one of those gang members? The answer is hell no.
Raise your hand if you do. Like, who are you?
Martha, you're Martha. You're apparently Martha. Apparently, she doesn't have kids that go to school with these criminals, apparently. She's okay with that. I'm not okay with that. I'm totally fine with them coming in and getting those criminals out of the schools. Why would you want that?
It's baffling.
Oh my gosh. Get them out. They're criminals. They are criminals. This is not hard to understand. Oh my, these people are loons. If you are so dead set on keeping those people in the country, Martha, take them into one of your 3 guest rooms.
Exactly.
I'm sure you have room, Martha. Why don't you take them into your home? Because they're not there. Take them.
I just love Tom Homan so much. There was also the Pope, worst Pope ever. Seriously. The Pope is all like, this is mean. All these deportations are mean.
Right.
Sitting behind his wall at the Vatican. He's saying that. So Tom Homan was on, I can't remember if this was News Nation or OAN, one of the two, and they were talking about the Pope, and Tom Homan has a message for the Pope.
Final question. The Pope this week said that it's a disgrace what we're now doing with this new government, deporting all of these people. We've got, obviously there's going to be a lot of media searching for the sad stories here, trying to turn public opinion against this operation. What's your message to the American people as you guys do this work?
Well, let me give a message to the Pope. I'm a lifelong Catholic. I was born Catholic. I've been through Catholic doctrine. Look, he only concentrates on fixing the Catholic Church, first of all. He's got big problems there. And in the Vatican, they have a wall around the Vatican. And if you illegally enter the Vatican, the crime is serious. You'll be charged with a serious crime, be jailed.
Yeah.
So he can protect the Vatican where he lives. He can build a wall where he lives. Where American people are not allowed that? No. Securing the border saves lives. He needs to understand that. When we secure the border, when less people come, less women get raped by the cartel, less children die in the river, less Americans die from fentanyl overdoses. He ought to stick to the Catholic Church and fix that. That's a mess.
He's absolutely correct. He's a
Oh
commie.
my God, I love him.
The Pope is a commie.
Yeah, he's just a terrible Pope, man.
Yeah, he's awful.
Terrible.
I'm sorry if you're
it
a
must
Catholic.
be really easy for him to say that,
Right.
behind all of his walls and security
and protection. Yeah, he's totally protected and entitled and elitist. And I'm sorry if you're Catholic and you love the guy, but I don't. He's a jerk. He's a commie jerk.
All right, let's move on because Friday night, I guess it was, Pete Hegseth did get confirmed and JD Vance did have to break a tie. So there was not a single solitary Democrat who voted in favor of Pete Hegseth's nomination. And there were 3 Republicans, as you probably know, who voted against him as well, Mitch McConnell, Susan Collins, and Murkowski. So it required Vance to break the tie, and he did that. And then when he went to swear Pete in, he made a few remarks to the crowd that was there gathered. And here is a little bit of what JD said about that vote.
I learned with the Buckeyes just a week ago. When you win the championship, you don't give a damn what the score was. We won the championship on this one. We've got a great Secretary of Defense. We're proud of him, and he's going to do a great job. Thank you all. Take care.
Football.
The numbers don't matter. He's in.
Right.
He's in.
Mm-hmm.
Which is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And so Pete also spoke, and I thought that there were parts of his speech. Well, the whole speech was great. We're not going to play the whole thing, but we'll play a little bit of his remarks. Here they are.
Praise and glory to God. His will be done, and we're grateful to be here. And as I said in my hearing, it was Jesus and Jenny. I would not be here without you, sweetheart. Thank you so much. I want to thank the President of the United States, our Commander-in-Chief, Donald Trump. We could not have a better Commander-in-Chief than him. It is the honor of a lifetime, sir, to serve under you. We look forward to having the backs of our troops and having your back in executing peace through strength, in putting America first, and in rebuilding our military. Mr. Vice President, thank you for breaking the tie. It's not the last time, or not the first time the headline reads, Junior Enlisted Marine bails out junior Army officer. And, you know, some people were saying, well, 50-50, that's too tight. And Senator Mark Wayne Mullen was nice enough to take my kids up to the gallery to watch the actual moment that the vice president sealed the deal. And they came running in. They said, Dad, instead of being sad about 50-50, 51-50, they said, Dad, you won in overtime. That's the perspective I like. So thank you. We will put America first. We will bring peace through strength. And the three principles I talked about are what we will bring to that Pentagon. Restore the warrior ethos in everything that we do. Rebuild our military. And reestablish deterrence. We don't want to fight wars. We want to deter them, as you said. And we want to end them responsibly. But if we need to fight them, we're going to bring overwhelming and decisive force to close with and destroy the enemy and bring our boys home.
I love that. Yeah.
So great.
I think they're going to see recruitment rise, and also
I do too.
The quality of recruits improve. I think they're
well, and
gonna
there was
see
an
that with
announcement
them,
today too that they're going to bring back all the people that got booted because they didn't take the vaccine,
which is so great. Yes,
Mhm.
that's so great. I mean, because I think people they're going to want to go into the military again for the right reasons.
Yeah,
You know, just in increased numbers, don't you think?
I think so.
With
I
him
hope
at the
so.
helm. I think with him at the helm, you're going to see a little bit of a bump in that. I would.
Mhm.
I mean, I totally would. If I were somebody who was interested in the military, I'd be like, "Oh, he's in charge? Heck yeah, let's do this."
Right?
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
think so. I think he's going to be great for everything. I think he's
For
going to be great.
morale. For
Mhm.
morale. Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that Trump signed off on his first week was an end to DEI programs, initiatives, offices, employees in the military. And so that took effect. And so what did they do? The media and specifically parts of the woke Air Force decided to make him look bad by putting out this ridiculous nonsense. They said, this is according to the San Antonio Express News, obeying Trump order, the Air Force will stop teaching recruits about Tuskegee Airmen.
Shut up.
Which is absolute nonsense. And they did this on purpose to make Trump look like he said specifically, you've got to stop teaching them about the Tuskegee Airmen. This is utter and complete nonsense. And as soon as word got out, Senator Britt said, I have no doubt Secretary Hegseth will correct and get to the bottom of the malicious compliance, which is a perfect word for it, that we've seen in recent days. President Trump celebrated and honored the Tuskegee Airmen during his first term, promoting legendary aviator Charles McGee to Brigadier General and pinning his stars in the Oval Office. In his second term, Trump will continue to deeply respect and elevate the Tuskegee Airmen's legacy. Their history and their lessons will continue to be taught because their legacy is one of excellent success and unquestionable merit. As the Pentagon under Hegseth's leadership restores its focus to lethality, there is no greater historical example of a highly skilled, valiant fighting force than the Tuskegee Airmen. These role models will continue to inspire the next generation of courageous, selfless American service members.
Right. Because
4 hours after this nonsense broke, Pete Hegseth was already done with it. He was like, this is crazy. And even DeSantis pointed out how this is just like the don't say gay nonsense, the twisting of the actual narrative. And he said, this is the Air Force indulging in theatrics. We've seen this passive aggressive performance nonsense in Florida, where activists claim complying with anti-woke curriculum standards requires them to exclude basic history. It is all nonsense, which is why Pete Hegseth immediately was like, this has been immediately reversed. Thank you, Katie Britt.
see, this is the thing. They will not be able to get away with this crap anymore.
Nope.
It's
will
not going to work. I mean, it's worked for years, and this bullshit is not going to stand anymore. And I'm here for it.
Isn't it just the best?
It really is the
love
best. But all of their tactics that worked before are not going to work now. And I think they're all just like, oh crap, it doesn't work anymore.
Yeah.
They're like, they know what we're doing. They know that we're lying. They know that we're shifty. They know it's not working. It doesn't work.
And I love that the San Antonio Express News had to say, after uproar, Air Force says recruits will again be taught about Tuskegee Airmen.
Right. I mean,
I love Ben Shapiro saying, just to recap how insane this was, Hegseth banned DEI in the military. So deep staters in the military immediately moved to ban teaching of the Tuskegee Airmen in order to discredit him. So he reversed it. This is why he is the new SecDef, to clear out these people.
Right.
God,
these people who will make stuff up to I guess enhance their own agenda, which is gross. It's really gross. So they're trying to put racism and all this and sexism and all this other stuff in a place where it doesn't exist. You know,
we're on to them.
We know what you're doing. He knows what you're doing. Stop it. Quit being jerks.
That's exactly. They cannot play this game anymore.
No.
All of their tactics are out in the open, and it's over for them.
We see you. We totally see you.
That's right.
We've seen them for years, but now it's like it is all out in the open, and now it's done. You can no longer do it.
God, I just freaking love this.
Isn't it fantastic?
Going back to JD Vance for a second, there was an old clip of Megyn Kelly's interview with him shortly after Hillbilly Elegy became like such a hit.
Yeah.
And it was early on in his marriage to Usha. In fact, she was expecting their first baby when Megyn Kelly did this interview. And I just thought this was such an interesting flashback because they asked him about running for office in it. And so this was a really cool kind of little bit of history. And he has had such a glow up.
I was as close to a nervous breakdown as I've ever had. The stress of law school. Mom had just had a heroin overdose. I was in love with this girl, Usha, but I didn't quite know how to be in love with her in the way that I wanted to be. And I just thought to myself, you finally got to this place that's going to guarantee that your life is going to go well, and you're struggling with all of the things that you thought you'd gotten away from.
With Usha's love and support, JD graduated and they got married. Now they're expecting a baby boy. Family is close by, including his mother, Beverly. She's clean now, but JD keeps his distance. After a brief maternity leave, Usha will be commuting to Washington for a Supreme Court clerkship with Chief Justice John Roberts. But for now, they're settling into a new house.
So back to Columbus.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, one, it's about to have a baby. It's good to be close to family. But, you know, the things that I care most about are not in San Francisco. They're not in Silicon Valley. The things that I care most about are the opioid crisis, about solving some of the issues that I write about in the book. And you can only do that, I think, when you're actually close to the problems and when you're actually on the ground trying to help.
To know whether JD's going to run for office.
Who's everyone?
Everyone. Just everyone. Trust me. I speak to them.
Okay.
What do you think? Should he run for office?
I think someday, if the time is right, and if he really feels that that's the best way that he can contribute to his home, then I think that would be a great idea.
Why do you get uncomfortable when that idea comes up?
I think that, you know, when people ask me if I want to run for office, part of me wonders, like, do they think I just give off a used car salesman vibe?
Do you think it's more born of hope that you could be a real change agent?
Yeah, no, I think that's the optimistic take on it. I'm very flattered when people ask me, and you never say never, but it's just not something that I think about doing right now.
And so we left JD Vance, 32, home again, on the cusp of fatherhood. Whether his past will interfere with his present, well, that could be another book.
It's crazy, isn't it?
And now he's vice president.
Right. But the thing about him is I really love him as VP. I mean, I love Trump as president. Don't get me wrong. But I really love him as VP because he's all of us. You know, he's the kind of guy where you can show your kid and say, you can do anything. You really can do anything. He's the American dream. He really is. I mean, I don't think liberals still believe in the American dream. I think we do. And he's living proof of that. He is a walking example of the American dream. I mean, like it's inspiring to me. He's inspirational to me because he's like, his mom was a freaking heroin addict. She's a single mother. He could, to me, he's like a lot like Ben Carson. Ben Carson is the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, came from nothing and then look where he is now. That to me is the American dream. And those people on the left, they think that is bullcrap. They don't believe in it. I do. And I show my kid, I will always say to Gwen, you can do anything you want. He is a perfect example of that. Ben Carson is a perfect. There are so many people on our side of the aisle who are perfect examples of that. You really can. You still can. It still exists. And he's proof.
And now Trump is going to return from an economic standpoint. He's going to make that dream possible again, where so many of the Biden policies did destroy that dream for a lot of people, made it that much more out of reach. And that's one thing that Trump has talked about a lot, is wanting to make the American dream possible for people again. So it's just, I just love that flashback, because damn, that was incredible.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of JD Vance, did he ever have the best interview of all time yesterday with that horrible, wretched cow, Margaret Brennan? So it was interesting because before the interview was aired, the transcript came out, the full transcript came out, and I read it, and I was so mad at her that I could not believe how combative she was right out of the gate, and for no reason. You know what I mean? Like, there was no reason for her to be that way, but she was, and it was evident in every single question. There was not a question she asked him that wasn't like a poke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's awful. So I encourage everybody to watch the whole damn thing, because it's a thing of beauty. Like, there's no one that handles media like JD Vance. He's incredible. But we do have some highlights. In this first one, she was going after him about the fact that there were the blanket pardon of the J6ers, and she's all mad about that. And he explains to her exactly how it happened and why.
Weeks ago, you were on Fox News and you said, if you protested peacefully on January 6th and had Merrick Garland's Department of Justice treat you like a gang member, you should be pardoned. If you committed violence on that day, obviously you shouldn't be pardoned. Did you counsel the president against these blanket pardons for 1,500 people?
Well, Margaret, I noticed,
including those who committed violence.
Margaret, I noticed that you cut off the thing that I said immediately after that. The full quote is that, of course, there are gray areas. And here's the nature of the gray area. Merrick Garland's Department of Justice denied constitutional protections in the prosecutions. There were double standards in how sentences were applied to the J6 protesters versus other groups. What the president said consistently on the campaign is that he was going to look at a case-by-case basis, and that's exactly what we did. We looked at 1,600 cases, and the thing that came out of it, Margaret, is that there was a massive denial of due process of liberty, and a lot of people were denied their constitutional rights. The president believes that, I believe that, and I think he made the right decision.
It's just masterful.
Yeah.
Masterful.
It's just like, frankly, Margaret, I don't give a damn. And that's that's where he's going.
That's where all the memes are today, because of the quote from him not caring, which we'll get to.
Right.
She also said, well, but what about all the, the police officers that were beaten, and how can you justify any violence against a police officer? And here is his response to that nonsense.
Against a police officer is not justified, but that doesn't mean that you should have Merrick Garland's weaponized Department of Justice expose you to incredibly unfair process, to denial of constitutional rights, and frankly, to a double standard that was not applied to many people, including, of course, the Black Lives Matter rioters who killed over 24 people and never had the weight of a weaponized Department of Justice come against them. The pardon power is not just for people who are angels or people who are perfect. And of course, we love our law enforcement and want people to be peaceful with everybody, but especially with our good cops. That's a separate issue from what Merrick Garland's Department of Justice did. We rectified a wrong, and I stand by it.
So
good. The media is not going to win this time. They're cooked. I mean, I think that the whole interview showed that it used to be that the media, at least they thought that they had the upper hand. They just don't anymore. And it's the next 4 years are going to be very, very interesting with how the media is dealt with. Because we can't stand them, and we hate them, and we definitely don't trust them. So,
and she gives perfect reason not to. This was not journalism at all. This was not a normal journalistic interview.
It was an attack.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And she's totally biased, and we all know it. They're absolutely biased, and we learned that the last time around, right? We've learned it in the last 9 years how biased they are, and how against Trump and Vance that they are. So it's just going to be really interesting to see how all of this pans out over there, because they're just not taking it this time. We are not taking it.
And there's not any fear of the media. Like, I mean,
No.
Trump's never been afraid of the media. JD Vance will talk to anyone, as he proved
Right.
this weekend. So
Mhm.
it's going to be so much fun to watch.
It really is.
The only negative thing about it is that Trump and Vance will continue to give them ratings. You know what I mean? Where they could just ignore them entirely, and we'll get the news where we always get it, which is from Twitter.
Right,
You know what I mean? It's from like the citizen journalists, but they rely on Trump and Vance to give them reasons to go viral, to have these clips go viral. And
Yeah.
the only unfortunate thing is that they're going to give them to him.
Yeah. They're
So-
still tanking though.
Yeah,
the MSNBCs and the CNNs, they're still tanking.
Mm-hmm. All right. This next clip was when Margaret Brennan is trying to cry crocodile tears over the Afghan refugees who are still held up from getting back into the country after the whole disastrous withdrawal. So just now, all of a sudden, they care about these Afghan refugees, and she's insisting that they've been vetted, and he absolutely bodies her in this response.
Talk to us in August, you said, I don't think we should abandon anybody who's been properly vetted and helped us. Do you stand by that?
Well, Margaret, I don't agree that all these immigrants or all these refugees have been properly vetted. In fact, we know that there are cases of people who allegedly were properly vetted and then were literally planning terrorist attacks on our country. That happened during the campaign, if you may remember. So clearly not all of these foreign nationals
But there are
have been properly
30,000
vetted.
people in the pipeline, Afghan refugees.
But my primary
Do you stand by
concern
it?
as the vice president, Margaret, is to look after the American people. And now that
So
we
no.
know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These people
it's
are
not
vetted.
good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted. And many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he
Yeah.
wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted. And because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really
But-
care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me. I don't really
But-
care, Margaret. I don't want that. Don't really
but-
care, Margaret. Don't really
but-
care, Margaret. I don't really
but-
care, Margaret.
give a
I don't
damn.
really
But-
care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
Right. He doesn't care. But again, it's kind of like Martha, right? Martha and Margaret are kind of the same, and a lot of these broads are the same. Why hasn't Margaret taken in one of those terrorists? Again, if she's so sympathetic to the terrorists, why is that guy not in her guest room? I don't get it with these people, with these chicks who are so sympathetic to these terrorists. Why is he not in your home?
It's almost as if they're just saying things to say them.
Right. Almost. I don't get it.
God, I just love that moment.
It really was great.
And her facial expressions, right? Like they're my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
When she's like, she just looks so snippy and snarky, and he just is not
Smug.
having any of it.
Yeah.
This is when she tries to tell him that the United States is unique because we were founded by immigrants. And he's like, no, I'm not playing this game.
The country founded by immigrants.
Well, this is a country
This is a
founded
unique
by.
country.
This is a very unique country, and it was founded by some immigrants and some settlers. But just because we were founded by immigrants doesn't mean that 240 years later that we have to have the dumbest immigration policy in the world.
Right. Look at her face.
I know. That's
That
my
face.
favorite.
That face right there.
If you committed
Oh,
violence
shoot.
on
Sorry, I just went all the way back
You
to the
got to get
beginning. I
you got to
didn't
get the
mean-
face. That
I mean, look
that
at
was a
that.
great
Even
one.
that face. That was
That
a
was
really good
great.
one.
That's a really great face. You know what, Margaret? We don't give a shit.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't give even half a shit. Yeah.
Oh my God. She just got absolutely leveled
Just
in this
so
interview.
owned. That's right.
She also wanted to ask him about Tulsi and her nomination and whether she'll get through. And here is that.
Journal and the National Review, conservative publications, as you know, have been critical of Tulsi Gabbard. The review called her an atrocious nominee who deserves to be defeated. They compared her defense of Edward Snowden, the fugitive who stole U.S. secrets, to an attorney general who thinks the mob gets a bad rap. Her refusal to accept U.S. intelligence findings that Assad gassed his own people, they said, was like a nominee for OMB director not being able to count. Does any of this give you pause putting her in charge of the U.S. intelligence community? Yes or no?
No, Margaret, look, these are publications that attacked Donald J. Trump obsessively, but those publications don't determine who the president is, the
And
American
ultimately
people
supported
do.
him.
And Donald J. Trump is the person who determines who his cabinet is, not these publications that I think, frankly, have lost relevance. Here's
A lot
in
of
4
things
days.
that contributed.
Maggie. There.
Oh my God. It's just too much. It's like so good. It's almost
Right.
too much.
These are
you know what I mean?
publications that nobody cares about. But
They've
bless your
lost
heart.
relevance.
Bless your ignorant heart.
She also, this is the last one that we'll play from this, but again, go watch the full thing because it's a joy, truly.
It
And
really
she's
is.
not the only one to do this. I have seen so many Democrats in the last few days put up these self-righteous videos about how eggs are still expensive.
Oh my
And
gosh.
like, they're like, he hasn't done anything about the price of eggs. It's been 5 days. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Uh-huh.
And so she did the same thing. She was all over him about like, well, what people touch and feel is the prices of bacon. And when are they going to touch and feel different prices? And he was just like, bitch, calm down. I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
I really wish you would have said that. I would have died. That would have been so great if you would have said
It
that.
actually would have. It would have.
Oh my gosh.
But here's how it really went.
Energy prices, and there was record oil and gas production.
Yes, Joe Biden did
But the price of
many
eggs,
terrible
the
things
things that
to
people
lead to an
see-
increase in prices. I agree, Margaret.
No, but all the things you experience at the grocery store are what people touch and feel. That's what you were talking about, bacon on the campaign trail.
Of course. of course.
Those things, when do consumers actually get to touch and feel a difference in their lives?
Well, but Margaret, how does bacon get to the grocery store? It comes on trucks that are fueled by diesel fuel. If the diesel's way too expensive, the bacon's going to become more expensive. How do we grow the bacon? Our farmers need energy to produce it. So if we lower energy prices, we are going to see lower prices for consumers, and that is what we're trying to fight for.
It's been 5 days, JD.
I mean, this is what they're literally saying.
It's
so
been
dumb.
5 days. Why isn't bacon cheaper? Calm down, bitch. I can't. These people, it's
I know.
insufferable. It's just, wow, you cannot make
Yeah,
this
go
up.
on your socials. I promise you that you're going to come across some videos of randos and of Democrat leadership. Because Hakeem Jeffries was like, the price of eggs is still out of control. What's going on? And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? Like 2
can't.
weeks ago, you were like, no, everything's fine. And now you're like, what's going on with the price of eggs? Oh my
Right.
God.
I know.
It's insane.
They are insane. Give us
All
half
right.
a minute. Give the men half a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. A hot second, and they'll take
Lord.
care of it. Good Lord.
All right, moving on to Trump, who was very, very busy this weekend. He was all over the place. He was in North Carolina. He was in California. He was in Vegas. He was absolutely everywhere. And so we're going to do a little bit like an overview of all the things that he did and said and where he was. It started out when he was on the tarmac getting ready to head to North Carolina. He talked to reporters, of course, and they were asking him, what are you going to do about providing federal aid to California? And he enumerated a couple of very interesting conditions. Here he is.
Funding to Los Angeles because of its sanctuary city policy?
I want to see two things in Los Angeles. Voter ID, so that the people have a chance to vote. And I want to see the water be released and come down into Los Angeles and throughout the state.
I think those are two really great things, don't you? Those are great.
Can you imagine? You don't get aid until you actually have normal voter laws.
Right.
New scum.
God, you
God,
know
I
that
freaking love
Newsom's
that.
head was just exploding, like with all of it. And listen, it explodes a lot harder because of all the grease. Just exploding like crazy.
Splattering everywhere.
Everywhere.
So he did go to North Carolina and immediately was talking about the failures of FEMA and also talking about how he was going to get the Army Corps of Engineers to get immediately started on some of the infrastructure repairs that were needed. And he immediately did. So North Carolinians not only felt his presence because he was there comforting them in person, but also because he took decisive action, which actually made a difference on the ground. And here's one person just not in almost disbelief about the night and day difference between Biden and Trump on the ground in North Carolina.
I just want to say to Donald Trump, thanks. him showing up to North Carolina, seeing those people's faces, it's like Superman just arrived. This man is exactly what a president should be. Just a leader and a lover of the American people. That's what it should be. And all the ICE agents putting their life on the line to get these criminals out of the country, to keep us safe, that's the way it should be, but also thank you to them. I mean, this is like insane. It's like we jump timelines and things are actually back on track or headed back on track, and fuck. Happy Friday.
You know, I love Trump. I would never belittle what he's doing, okay? Because this is obviously the right thing to do, but like this is common sense stuff, right? If you love your country. Like, I can't believe this wasn't done.
I know.
It blows me away that this wasn't done. Like that liberals, that the Biden administration just didn't freaking do it. This is common sense stuff, you guys. Like, what is wrong with those people that wasn't already done? You know, I love Trump for going and getting this done, but like, you make promises, you keep promises, you put America first. What is wrong with liberals? Like, what is wrong with them?
Everything. Almost everything.
Like what? Like, you take care of your family. We are a big family. America is a big family. You take care of your family. Your family's first. We're your family. And then you take care of everybody else. Like, I just don't understand how they can't see that. And like this, you don't give money to other countries first. It's just so whack to me. It is.
It's completely whack. Trump answered press questions everywhere he went. I don't even remember like where this might be in North Carolina, or possibly he's already in California by the time this particular presser is taking place. But somebody asked him about removing Fauci's protection detail and whether or not he would feel personally responsible if anything bad happened to Fauci. And I just love everything about this clip.
The security detail for Anthony Fauci was terminated last night, sir. Do you have a comment?
No, I think, when you work for government, at some point your security detail comes off. And, you can't have them forever. So I think it's very standard. If it would be for somebody else, you wouldn't be asking the question. The question is very fair. But, you work for government. We took some off other people, too. But you can't have a security detail for the rest of your life because you worked for government.
That's right.
For it to be taken off, sir?
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Would you feel partially responsible if something were to happen to, say, Dr. Fauci or John Bolton?
No. They all made a lot of money. They can hire their own security, too.
That's right. That's damn right. He made a ton of money. He made so much money off of stuff that it's indescribably unethical. So take that money and buy your own damn security, you little troll, you evil troll. You should be in prison.
Oh my God. I just love that. He was also asked because there was talk ahead of like the votes that needed to take place in the Senate for all the confirmations. There was talk that Adam Schiff might have joined President Trump on the flight to California. And so Trump was asked about that. And he just made so much fun of Adam Schiff.
I was told that Schiff was going to travel with us to California. I wasn't thrilled, to be honest with you. And I saw him last night on television. It looks like he got hit with a baseball bat or something. What happened to him?
It's just so funny.
Something happened to him. It looked like he got hit. It looked like he got beat around. But I'll ask Caroline to find out what happened to him. No, if he wanted to come out, I would have done that. But I don't know. Somebody said that he wanted to come on the plane, but I think he's staying back for the votes.
I wonder what Caroline says to him. Like, if he's like, what happened to him, Caroline? Was a hit in the head? And she's like, no, sir, he's just severely constipated.
That's just his face.
That's just the way that God made him, sir. He just looks like that all the time. Honestly.
Oh my God. I freaking love that so much.
I do too. He's
and
back.
Then Gavin Newsom, he did not attend like the roundtable discussions that we'll get to in a little bit. He did not attend like the in LA meetings with Karen Bass and others, but he did want to meet Trump on the tarmac. He was not asked to, but he definitely wanted to meet him there. And Trump made him wait. Like once the plane had landed, Gavin Newsom was just on the tarmac, like doing his little Gavin
Doing
Newsom
his thing.
dances
Yeah.
for 10 minutes
in the hands.
before Trump and Melania finally came out. And Melania, of course, looked completely gorgeous, like with the
Uh-huh.
baseball cap and the aviators, the whole thing. But anyway, the when they first meet each other and shake hands, there's that whole fight over who's going to shake whose hand harder. And it just cracks me up every time this happens. So here is the moment that they finally met on the tarmac. We'll have to do like some lip reading analysis. See him tugging? They're both
look at Gavin's hair. It's so stupid.
It's so stupid.
God, it's dumb. I just want to take a razor to it. He's such a douche.
So they're talking.
What is he saying to him?
I don't know exactly.
And what? Oh my God.
I don't know.
I just can't with that guy.
But somebody is, I don't know who this guy is, but they did the most hilarious impersonation of Gavin Newsom. You guys, you have to see.
I absolutely
this
love it.
impersonation.
I've seen. I love this.
Not really. I think these fires were very devastating. I think the full scope of what actually has happened, we're not there yet. Okay, these people's houses are just destroyed. People are suffering. People are sad. But we're Californians. We're going to push through. We're going to push through. And where we're going, the vision is 10 times bigger than anybody else can even imagine. Because the future of California is bright. It's so bright. When you really try to look at it, I mean, really, really look at how bright it is, you're going to need shades to live in California 24 hours a day.
My favorite. Oh my God, it's so great. It's so great.
That's the best thing ever. Oh my God. I loved it so much. Now, Trump, because he can call Gavin, Newscum, and he can say all the correct mean things about Gavin Newsom, but when push comes to shove, he's going to work with whoever he needs to work with, as he explained on the tarmac next to Gavin Newsom.
Get something completed, and the way you get it completed is to work together. It's the governor of the state, and we're going to get it completed. They're going to need a lot of federal help, unless you don't need any, which would be okay. We're going to need a lot of federal help. So, we're going to take care of things. Okay?
Did he just say we're going to need a lot of federal help?
Yeah.
I cannot stand him.
Oh my God. I mean, just awful. Well, then you're going to have voter ID. How about that?
Right.
Cash me outside.
Yeah. Cash us all outside. All of us. We're going to need a lot of federal help. Really? Are you?
God.
All your tax money? What have you done with it? What have you done with all the money, Gavin?
Well, and at the round table then that Rick Grinnell was at, Brad Sherman was there, Mayor Bass was there. At one point, they even took Karen Bass's microphone away from her. She just outright lied, even in front of some of the citizens who've lost homes, who have been told by the county, by the state, it's going to take 18 months before we can clear your lot or before you can even start rebuilding. Ridiculous. And so she's outright lying to Trump's face, and he calls her out on it. And it's just awesome.
Around for 7 months till the city hires some demolition contract that's going to charge him $25,000 to do his lot. Yeah. I think you have emergency powers just like I do, and I'm exercising my emergency powers. You have to exercise them also.
I did exercise them.
Because you have a very powerful emergency power, and you can do everything within 24 hours.
Yes. And if individuals want to clear out their property, they can. Well, yes, but you know that you will be able to go back soon.
Mr. President.
We think within a week.
Oh my gosh.
That's a long time, a week. I'll be honest. To me, everyone's standing in front of their house. They want to go to work and they're not allowed to do it.
And the most important thing is for people to be safe.
They're safe. They're safe. You know what? They're not safe. They're not safe now. They're going to be much safer. A week is actually a long time, the way I look at it. I watched hundreds of people standing in front of their lots, and they're not allowed to go in. It's all burned. It's gone. It's done. Nothing's going to happen to it. It's not going to burn anymore. There's nothing to burn. There's almost nothing to burn. And they want to go in. The people are all over the place. They're standing, and I say, why aren't you going in? We're trying to get a permit. And the permit's going to take them, everybody said 18 months. You said 18 months. You said 18 months.
That was last night.
And that was last night.
I mean, she just
Yeah.
lied. She just
Yeah.
lied.
She totally lies. And he called her out. And it's a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Melania's sitting there in her black cap going, do not cross my husband. Don't do it.
It was so good. I mean, he just was not having any of it from anybody. You know,
No.
it was exactly the way it needed to be.
It is. I feel so bad for those people. I feel bad for the people of North Carolina. I feel bad for people of Florida. It's like they've just been so wronged, you know, in every way. It's just not the way that Americans should be treated. And then meantime, you got stuff in Ukraine and all over, like everywhere else in the world. They're all getting rebuilt. It's like they're fine. Their places are great. You got pensions.
And you got the illegals in all the hotel rooms,
Right.
taking up shelter space, hotel
It's
space.
disgraceful.
Mm-hmm. Trump was in a very funny mood when he got to Vegas and did a rally there. And there's been all the, I think actually some Republican representative, I don't remember even who in Congress, decided to put forward a bill saying it's fine for presidents to be able to serve 3 terms or 4 terms, which was crazy. I mean, this is just nonsense. Like, this is so stupid. And so Trump glommed onto it because he knew that the media would be freaking out. And so here's what he said.
The greatest honor of my life to serve not once, but twice, or 3 times, or 4 times. Headlines from the fake news.
Oh my God.
Now it will be to serve twice. For the next 4 years, I will not rest. I will not yield. And together we will not fail. We will win, win, win. We will bring back the American dream. We're going to bring it back. You know, in recent years, our nation has suffered greatly, but we are going to make it great again, greater than ever before. We'll be a nation like no other, full of compassion, courage, and exceptionalism.
Oh my gosh. Rachel Maddow's head is just exploding right now. They're all losing it. Yeah, and he jokes, but he knows he can rile them up. And he does. And they're all running with it. They're like, oh my gosh, he wants to be a dictator.
It's so fun to watch. He's such a troll. It's
mission
just the greatest.
accomplished. Mission accomplished. Yep.
He also joked about how he knows that there's a lot of world leaders out there that hate him, and he thinks that that's actually a good thing.
Yep.
And he's talking about the difference between now and back when Biden was president. I guess when world leaders would call for Joe Biden, they would tell him he'll call you back in a couple of months. Can you imagine? That's what they were doing. And so Trump talks about how different it is now. This whole thing is hilarious.
On the verge of some of the very bad things, and bad things were happening. And now there's light not only over America. I've heard it from even our enemies. They call up and they say, sir, we hate you. We do hate you, but there's light over the world right now. They hate me. Some of them hate me. If they liked me, you got a problem, right?
Right.
They like Sleepy Joe. What's not to like? You know, they'd call up. It's funny. I was told today by one of the big leaders of the world, would call for a telephone call with the President of the United States a year ago. And they'd say, we'd like to speak with, who is this? It's the head of Germany, the head of, name it, the head of France, the name of any country, it didn't matter. He would never pick up the call. He'd say, he'll call you back in 2 months.
Unreal.
2 months. Yes, his schedule. He's extremely busy sleeping. No.
Oh my gosh.
Macron of France, he'll call you back in 2 months. So 2 months comes along and there's no call. They say, he didn't call. The stories are, I mean, these stories are not very exaggerated. I want to tell you, they're a little bit for laughter, but, you know, it's only for laughter. The fake news will say, oh, he exaggerated. It was only 1 month, you know. But he'll say he'll call you back, and then he'd never call, and then they could never get him on the phone. And the problem I have is that when I speak to and I speak to them immediately, they'll say, could we speak to the president? Would that be possible? We could do it anytime over the next month. They're so used to this, right? I say, no, I'll pick it up right now. Is he on the phone? Yeah, hello, how you doing? That's what, you know, get it.
An observer.
And I think a lot of people actually have his personal phone number.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard that, like from just different sources and things that I've watched, people like he will literally do that. He'll pick up the phone and he calls people and people have his phone number and he talks to people. This is what because let's just face it. That's his generation. That's our generation. People pick up the phone and they call one another and they handle their business. And he does that. You know that he has done that in business and in life. He has done that. He's picked up the phone and he's handled his crap. So you know he does that with world leaders. And Joe did not.
No, and I believe it. I mean, maybe he was exaggerating and maybe it was just a month and not 2 months. But I totally believe that he never would take a call without notes, without prep, without knowing exactly what the conversation was going to go like in advance. I mean, he was useless.
Oh, totally useless with like a teleprompter.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is different. And there's another thing that I was today years old when I learned about this that in the White House, in the Oval Office, if a president is working at the Resolute desk in the Oval Office, a Marine is stationed outside the door the whole time. And so this report from OAN was really, really interesting, just looking at the difference in the two presidencies.
Get it. An observation that I have made, given the fact that I've covered the Biden administration throughout the week, throughout the weekends. Generally speaking, there is a Marine standing outside the Oval Office whenever the president is in there working. The last 2 days here, today and yesterday, myself being at the White House, that Marine is constantly outside the Oval Office, signaling that the president is in there working for the American people. The Marine was never out there during the Biden administration. It was a very rare occurrence. If you did... Marine was out there. It was very rare if it was, but by comparison, the Marine has always been out here the last 2 days.
He didn't do anything.
He was never there. He was always on the beach.
Right. He was a figurehead. He was just a puppet. He didn't work, you guys. And let's just face it. It was obvious to anybody.
Oh, yeah.
Just look at the country. It's an absolute shambles. He didn't do jack crap.
God, it's so nice to have a leader back in the White House.
Right.
So nice. But not everybody sees it that way. A lot of people believe that because he was so active and busy during his first week, well, there you go. There's proof that he's a dictator and a tyrant and everything is awful. And MSNBC, even though they're probably going to be broken up and sold and people are getting fired left and right, they haven't learned. Here's how Jonathan Capehart introduced his show just the other day.
Welcome to the imperial presidency of Donald Trump.
Oh,
I can't think of a better way to describe the first 6 days of his second term. Through executive orders, he is challenging the Constitution and seeking to wrench all manner of powers away from Congress, pushing the limits of how much of the federal government one man can control.
Imperial presidency. Such a drama queen, this guy, isn't he? I can't think of a better way to describe it. Okay.
Can you not? You're going to get fired.
Yeah. Have fun working at Starbucks, dude.
Man, MSNBC falling down apart completely. Just, I cannot wait for the day that they are really, truly done. And it's coming.
It's almost over. I mean, they are on their way out. It is their numbers are terrible.
Yeah.
They are crashing.
And that's why they have learned nothing.
Nothing at all. Yeah. And then they pay these people just this ungodly amount of money. Like Rachel Maddow is paid $23 million a year, something like that.
For a weekly show.
Oh, yeah, exactly. She's there 1 day a week. And she's awful. It's like, who watches that crap? So it's not, they don't know how to do business. They just don't.
They're going to find out. This is another one of those FAFO kind of things.
Yeah, it is.
So they're going to find out. What you are about to see is another moment. There were so many moments that we showed last week of Trump signing executive orders and his little, I don't know the title of the guy that is like, okay, this order that you're about to sign says this. So here's one that may or may not be parody.
And lastly, sir, we have an executive order demanding that grown men stop wearing skinny jeans.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years. For decades.
Stop wearing them.
I mean, for real. Just can we stop?
Just don't do that, dudes. Stop it.
All right, moving on. There was an interesting guest on the Bill Maher show this weekend, and that was Stephen A. Smith, who we are not fans of, but who was spitting out some serious facts about the election and why Democrats lost. And he was on a tear, you guys. Listen to this.
The deal. The man was impeached twice. He was convicted on 34 felony counts. And the American people still said, he's closer to normal than what we see left. That's what they're saying. He's closer to normal. Why? Because something that pertains, when you talk about the transgender community, for example, and you're talking about the issues that pertain to less than 1% of the population, the Democratic Party came across as if that was a priority more so than the other issues. And so he comes into office. Now you're talking about childbirth, citizenship, and what have you. He knows that's not going to pass the mustard, but he knows that he made that promise. So when he shows up week 1 on Capitol Hill and he says, this is what we're going to do through an executive order, even though it's going to be shot down through the courts and what have you, he's saying, I kept my promise. A lot of other things that he's going to point to that he's going to try to do. I kept my promise. Then you turn around and you look at the left and you say, what promises did you keep? Now, you might know the answer to that. I'm certainly not questioning your knowledge about that at all. What I'm saying is what resonated with the voter. What voter out there can look at the Democratic Party at this moment in time and say, there's a voice for us, somebody that speaks for us, that goes up on Capitol Hill and fights the fights that we want them fighting on our behalf. They didn't do that. And that's why their behinds are home and that man is back into the White House. And they want to sit up there and talk. You look at the networks right now, they're talking about him. Look at it. This is the latest. Look at him. Here he goes again. Well, you know what here he goes again means? He's doing what he said he was going to do. He promised you he was going to do these things, and he walked into office week 1, and that's exactly what he's doing. And he's saying, y'all do something about it. And when you try to do something about it, he's going to say, look at them now. Now they're concerned about these issues. Were they talking about that during the campaign? Hell no. That's really it. Yeah.
Oh, damn.
He's right. There's just nothing. I can't disagree with him on anything.
I know. That was
correct.
That was a rant, man. That was a rant for the ages.
It's weird watching him go on these shows and speaking conservative. It's weird. Because he did it on The View too. He went on The View and did the same stuff. He talked about Hispanics and Black people. He did the same thing where he was speaking conservative. And it was like, what's going on? It's so bizarre.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah. And Bill Maher was also on the same show, was kind of also talking about how liking Trump is now cool, because you've seen like all the hip hop stars, right? They're now Snoop Dogg is like performing at, inauguration events. It's such a complete culture shift from the last time that Trump won. Yeah. It's night and day. And Bill Maher talks about that a little bit in this clip.
Yes. Here's how bad the Democrats f***ed up. Trump is cool now. He's not just the most powerful guy in the world and just made himself like the richest. He's actually kind of at 78. Yes. I mean, rappers like him. Yeah. The athletes are doing, I was making fun of him jerking off 2 guys at one time. And now he owns it, and they're doing it. I mean, the village people are gay for Trump now. Wow.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's not been cool to be conservative in the past 16 years. You and I have been doing this since 2009, and it's not been cool. We have been counterculture for this whole time. And so it's weird for me. I'm not comfortable with any of this. I'm not, because we've not been on the right side of culture for 16 years. I've grown very comfortable with being counterculture. And now all of a sudden everybody else is like, well, now it's cool to be conservative. I'm like, wait a second. Wait, it's cool now? Like we're the cool ones now? I'm not entirely comfortable with that. I have to like grow into that because seriously, because like you know how many emails and like messages we've gotten over the past 16 years where people are like, I'm at college right now and like I'm embarrassed. I agree with everything that you girls say, you ladies say, but I can't say it out loud because it's not cool to be conservative. Are we at a point now where like college campuses, like is it cool to be conservative on college campuses? I'm assuming that.
I think it's heading in that direction.
This is crazy. It's crazy. Yeah. It's like, I don't even know what to do with that because I don't. I'm going to need a minute, you guys. I'm going to need a little bit of a minute because like we've lived in a place, we've lived in this space for the past almost 2 decades where it's just not been It's not been cool. And I'm fine with that. I like being not cool. You know what I mean? I'm fine with being the counterculture. It's like we're the punk rockers. And now it's like, we're going to be mainstream. What? What are we're going to, okay.
It's going to take a beat to
It
get
is going to
used to
take a
that.
beat. It's going to take a beat to be mainstream, right? It's weird.
It is weird. But not everybody, of course, is on board. That creepy, weird Ellie, is it Mistal? I don't know how to say his name.
Yeah.
He's so mad and so not cognizant of the fact that Trump is gaining ground and gaining support in the Black community and the brown community, in all the communities. And the young community. He's gaining support, not just with white people, but Ellie cannot see it. Listen to this jackhole.
In awe version of this, because if you had been paying attention, they wrote it down. They told you exactly what they were going to do and exactly how you were going to do it. And a majority of white people voted for this. This is the disgusting version of America that people want. And oh, by the way, eggs are still more expensive. So you didn't even get that. Great job, white folks.
Can you even?
It's been 5 days. Calm your tits. Okay.
Good job, white folks.
My God. I swear.
He's insane. Absolutely insane.
Total insanity.
And it's not as though the counterculture thing is completely shifted, because even though Jewel, the singer, performed at an RFK event not long ago, in support of RFK's nomination for the cabinet, she is now in a position where she feels like she has to apologize to the fans of hers that are devastated that she would perform at, by the way, a Democrats event. Okay, let's not forget RFK is in fact a Democrat, but because he's, potentially part of the Trump cabinet, he's off limits now. Like, you're not allowed to like him if you're a liberal or a Democrat. So she is now apologizing for performing. It's so freaking stupid, you guys. And she's so granola. Here she is.
Of our country feels hope right now, and I honor that.
She honors it.
And half of our country feels disenfranchised and scared and vulnerable. And that is unacceptable.
Oh, okay.
And I am so sorry that I caused pain.
Oh my God.
Especially in my LGBTQIA plus community, because you guys are treasures. You make the world a better place.
Yeah.
You've made my life a better place.
Really?
The pandering. I can't.
It's gross.
It pains me, and I'm so sorry.
Does it?
Some of my longtime fans feel that I let them down.
Really? God. You know what she should be apologizing for? For sounding like a yodeling goat when she sings. Because I cannot. What is the sound that she puts out of her face when she sings? She is a yodeler. What is that?
She's a little bit of a yodeler. It's true. I
little
don't mind her music. I actually have some of her music.
It's like, it's that sort of like, what is that? She's a goat that yodels.
It's kind of like, there's a couple songs where she sounds like a leprechaun. It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
But there's other ones that are nice.
A yodeling leprechaun goat is what she is. Nobody's going to save your soul. Nobody. Jewel. Nobody.
Oh my gosh. And then before we get to talks, this was just so freaking amusing to me. So PETA activists apparently wanted to dump a truckload, like a giant dump truckload of dirt in front of the ASPCA headquarters, but they had some trouble because of the cold temperatures. The dirt was frozen solid, and so there was plenty of time for the cops to come and just arrest them.
This is my favorite. It's my favorite.
Guys, out of the street now.
I can't.
Everybody on the sidewalk. Everybody. Let's go. Off on the sidewalk.
Wait.
Let's go.
This is such a fail.
Breathing. Oh my. I cannot.
And you're done here. Bye.
Okay. And you're arrested. You're arrested.
Oh my God, I just love that so much.
Oh gosh, Karma.
Right?
She's
just the greatest.
She's a real biatch, isn't she?
It's the greatest.
Terrible. She's really terrible.
All right, now for some MyPillow talks. I genuinely do not know. Okay, I'm putting this disclaimer out there. I do not know if what you're about to see, it's a clip from the Howie Mandel podcast. I don't know if what you're about to see is a bit and it's everybody's acting or if this is for real. But when I watched it, I was like, oh my God, I totally believe it that Bill Burr and Billy Corgan are actually related.
I think that they are. I've seen this. I honestly think that this could be true. I think it could be true. I've seen rumors about, and they look identical. I mean,
oh my God,
they look like
twinsies.
brothers. I think this could be true, Mott.
Okay, well, if it is true, Bill Burr is a complete asshole. Okay,
Yeah,
like,
he's become
awful.
He's become one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he was funny at one time.
He was.
Yeah. And then what's his name? The Smashing Pumpkins guy. He's so talented.
Well, so apparently the way this story goes, the setup for this is that Howie Mandel had heard Billy Corgan on a different podcast saying, oh yeah, Bill Burr and I have the same dad. And I found it out like by happenstance. Here's the story. And Howie Mandel thought the story was so interesting. He had Bill Burr on and then secretly invited Billy Corgan to show up. And Bill Burr seems really unhappy about that. And that's why I don't know if this is a bit or if this is real. In either case, here it is.
Here.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Sit down.
You're an asshole.
Billy Corgan. Billy Corgan. I'm an asshole?
Yeah,
I thought this would be great to bring a family together.
He didn't tell you. He told me you were totally cool with me coming.
That's what he does. That's what he does.
I thought it would be a
then,
surprise.
Can this be like edited out or no?
I can go. I mean, you told me Bill was.
All right, fuck it. No, I'll do it. Like, did you ever think the fact that I never told that story that, you know, maybe you shouldn't? Did you ever, you know how many fucking like emails and crap that I got? Like, I sort of like went away from that.
So let me just fill in. Let me just fill in.
Do we talk on a regular basis?
We've never met.
So Billy Corgan was nice enough on my podcast to talk about the fact that he told a story that he had never told before, that his father traveled.
My stepmother said to me, do you know who Bill Burr is? Bill Burr might be one of the children that your father sired in his days on being a traveling musician.
If you do the math.
He was a piece of shit. And he had two kids this close together and he named them the same fucking name. He thinks it's different because he's Billy and I'm Bill. Like, that's how he told the difference.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I was Bill when I was young. But you're right. I mean, with all respect.
I just thought.
All right, well, whatever. You know, it's not that I don't like him. It reminds me of all of that shit. So, you know, it's like,
it just seems more of the same from what I've been hearing.
All right, whatever. I mean, I like your music.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Right? That's why I don't know what to make of it. I really don't.
Well, I mean, I believe it. I believe that it could be true. I mean, like my husband had a dad who completely abandoned him. And now he's found out through 23andMe that there's like freaking kids all over the place.
Yeah.
He's got like half brothers, half sisters. I mean, they're just everywhere, you know, coming out of the woodwork. So it could happen. I mean, it could happen. But to find out that these two are both like famous people, that's kind of extraordinary. For the record, I really like Billy Corgan better as a person, as a human being.
Well, he seems much kinder for sure.
He's a very he seems like a very kind man. Yeah. And I really love the Smashing Pumpkins, you guys. I just do. I like their music, you know. But I used to love Bill Burr too until he became
because he was funny when he talked about woke stuff. Like he was hilarious making fun of the woke stuff. But
he sold out though. He sold out to the liberal machine. Just FYI, he totally did. But yeah, I mean, I feel like this could be absolutely true. It
seems kind of like it's true. But anyway, I just thought we would share. And then if you know if that's a bit, feel free to tell us. We also have a hilarious video to show you of a guy with a very rectangular head. I'm just going to put it out there because you're going to notice it. It's going to be one of those things where you're like, oh, wow, that man's head is very rectangular. But he's super funny. He's talking about Chick-fil-A. He went to a Chick-fil-A and heard someone cussing at a Chick-fil-A.
So I'm just coming from Chick-fil-A, and I heard something in Chick-fil-A that I never thought I would ever hear. As I was leaving, I passed this man's table, and this man is in there, they're eating, and he's talking with his wife, and I don't know what had him so upset, but he was cussing so much. And I'm not talking about little words, like $5 cuss words, bad cuss words. And everybody knows there's a lot of places you don't cuss, but the top 3 are your grandma's house, church, and Chick-fil-A. You just don't cuss in there.
I agree with that.
There's no reason to cuss in a Chick-fil-A. There's no reason to get upset. When you walk through those doors, all your worries and cares should be cast away. Leave them at the door. You're eating the Lord's waffle fries.
It's true.
If you can't be happy eating the Lord's waffle fries, there's no hope for you.
He's right.
I looked at that man when I was leaving. I was like,
disapproval.
do you not know where you are, sir? Who you are in the presence of?
That's true. The Lord is
Chick-fil-A
there.
employees are the closest thing I've ever seen to an angel.
That's true. He's right. He's right. They want you. They sincerely want you to have a blessed day. They do.
They really do. It's
and I
genuine,
believe
you
it.
guys.
When they tell me that, I believe it in my soul. I believe it. He's right.
I just love that. All right, on to dogs and raccoons, because what creatures go better together, I ask you, than a very, very tolerant lab and a playful raccoon?
Oh my gosh. That lab looks like your sweet girl.
I know. She does look like my Ella girl.
She does. That's what she would do with a raccoon, too.
I think she would have. I think she would have liked it.
She would have liked a raccoon. She would have, especially a fat one like that. So sweet.
So cute. Aren't they the most precious
And she would have been licky.
friends?
She would have been super licky.
I know. I just love that.
That was very sweet.
We got some more crazy cats doing that crazy walk that you were like, why do they do that? And it was
The
because
crab
it makes them
walk.
look big.
Like a crab
Yes.
walk. Uh-huh.
These are just a bunch of cats doing crazy shit, you guys. Behold.
What is up with the...
What's up with the...
What in the world? What are they doing?
If I can take you outside. What the fuck?
Baby. Look at the baby. What in the world? Why? They're broken, you guys. They're just broken.
So funny.
They're broken.
Oh my God. And then you know how there's we played a ton of videos before in the past of useless farms where Karen the emu is always so mean. Well, there's another place called Carcass Acres. Have you ever seen this place?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God. So the woman there is absolutely hilarious. She's every bit as funny, if not funnier, than the useless farms lady. She names her animals ridiculous things and wants to show you how problematic they can be.
I think I'm about to blow some minds because not only do I have Dexter, you belong in federal prison. You are the inspiration for piñatas. I am also burdened with cheese.
Cheese is the fat hoof raccoon that infests my pastures. His only goal in life is property damage, and he was sent to me as some sort of divine test or punishment for wrongdoings on a cosmic level.
But wait, there's more. The famous chicken Elizabeth nugget is also one of my crime bags.
Chicken nugget.
Chicken nugget. Chicken Elizabeth nugget. Don't you do it. Chicken nugget. No, chicken nugget.
Sleepy little chicken nugget.
Oh my God, I love her. I love her.
Raining chicken nugget. And Squidward the carcass time horse. Had yet another neighbor tell me that there was a dead horse in my yard, so I'm doing a life check.
My water bill is $80,000 a month. I don't have horse pool money.
Who's never done anything wrong in her entire life. Squidward. 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 Squidward.
Oh my
She's
God.
just never done it. She's perfect. Not squid. She's Mama's perfect angel. No. God damn it. She's Mama's perfect girl. She's a bitch.
Are you contemplating choices? So yeah, here's a group carc with all those guys, plus Debbie from accounting and Donkey DeVito. Truly never a dull moment here at Carcass Acres.
This makes me think that I need to just start an account with my cows.
You could.
I should just do that because they all have personalities. I should do that. I mean, Steve's like, you should get a chick nugget. I have a Linus. He's basically a chicken nugget. He is.
But is it a chicken Elizabeth nugget?
No, he has that much of a he has that much of a personality. And I'm like, these people like have these. I mean, it's basically I have sort of that life, but with Brahmin cattle.
Mm-hmm.
I should just tape.
You
them
should, because
off.
they're constantly in the garage. They're trying to get in your house.
They're constantly, yeah. They're always trying to get Starbucks out of the trash. They're just, yeah. I should totally do that. I'm sorry. I know somebody just said I look like I'm going down fast. I know I'm sick, you guys. I'm so sorry.
Well, we're
I'm so
done.
sick
That's
today.
it. That's all. That's
yeah,
all.
we get to read stuff. We get to read things.
Oh
We're gonna
yeah.
bring it in.
In fact,
we're gonna bring it in and read things.
Yeah, let's bring it in first. We'll bring it in, and then I've got a
Sorry.
Venmo and some stuff over on locals, and then you'll do here. All right, let me see what we got over on the Venmo.
Let's
we
see it.
got. I think it's from Autumn. Yes, it's Autumn. She says, appreciate you and all you do for us, but take care of yourselves and your families. Love you both. You're like a spoonful of sugar that helps the medicine bad news go down. That is
Sweet.
so
It's
nice.
very, very sweet.
Miss Sherry over on locals said 85. Oh, because she sent $8.05. She says 85 in memory of my daddy who passed away suddenly last Thursday. Oh no, love
I'm
you,
so
chicks.
sorry.
And Pastor Shelley's sister also passed away
Yeah.
just recently, and just we're thinking about Pastor Shelley, so keep her in your prayers.
Totally
also.
are thinking about. Yes, Pastor Shelley, we love you. Yes.
Yes. All right, now you.
Okay, Wendy, Daisy, you can make money with that voice. Grab a phone.
Oh, that's true. You could do like a phone sex operator.
The 1-900. Do they still have 1-900 numbers?
I don't know.
I think it's just all on OnlyFans, isn't it? And I am too old for OnlyFans, you guys. That's right. Brian Brumley, Shelley's sister, passed away this morning, so keep her and her mom in your prayers. Yes, Brian, we absolutely are doing that. We are so sorry, Shelley. We love you so much.
Yeah.
Robert Clark, DEI, don't expect intelligence.
It's a good one.
Karen Elliott, healthcare is infected with DEI. I work in it. I see it firsthand. Pray this administration gets it out of our healthcare systems. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Paula Johnson, Daisy, hope your hubby is progressing nicely. Glad you are back. Mock, Chad is a great fill-in. Very funny. I think we all enjoyed him. He is lovely, isn't he?
He is very, very handy to have around when you're not here.
Right. Not as lovely as me, but I'm just kidding. We love Chad. We totally love Chad. He's great. He's a good BFF for us.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Brumley, Margaret is the new Karen. That's right.
Indeed.
Totally is. Kristen Moss, I think that's how I pronounce that. Good morning. How about JD's speech at the March for Life? Yes, that was awesome. Also, my son is getting his master's in Germany, and he had to prove that he could support himself before being accepted into the program.
Huh.
They do that in a lot of countries. Like our oldest daughter, she's thought about like going and living in Iceland. They love Iceland so much. And Iceland has all these hoops and requirements, and they're really weird about their immigration. I'm like, isn't that interesting?
It's almost like they want to be sovereign.
Right. You have to make like a certain amount of money to get in there. I mean, it's insanity, you guys. And I'm like, we should do that. You think?
Mm-hmm.
Karen Elliott, am I stupid? Where is all the money from the Biden infrastructure bill they bragged about so damn much? No, Gavin, no more for you. BTK, Newsome and Trump are 6'3". Newsome wore lifts. Oh my God, he wore lifts to meet him?
That is hilarious. And I hope that that's true.
I bet you it's true. I do not doubt that at all. Rachel Gerhardt, Vincent Oshana from PBD podcast.
The impersonator.
Yeah. Connie Cannell, just saying we were cool when conservatism wasn't cool. Get better, Daisy. So much crud out there. It's not my first post, just first with new phone. Thank you, Connie. I'm sorry. I just got something over the weekend. I think I got what Mock had over Christmas.
If you had what I had, you would be dead to the world.
I was
like that
pretty
was brutal.
I was pretty dead to the world over the weekend. And it was brutal because I was having to take care of my husband. So it's not a good weekend to get the crud, you guys. Just not, I don't have time for this. Julie Wolf, Daisy, you look like you're going down fast. Take care of yourself. Yeah, I took Dayquil this morning, but I'm going to have to take something stronger, I think. Melody Daniel, it's like the old song with a twist. I was conservative when conservative wasn't cool. Shout out to Barbara Mandrell. Remember the Mandrell sisters?
I love the Mandrell sisters. Are you kidding me?
Oh my gosh.
Loved it.
Jenny L. Hassel, Daisy, you look just fine. I'm effing jealous. Mock, you are funny as shit. I'm effing jealous. Jealous Jenny, that's me. It's very sweet, Jenny. I am looking rough today, but doing my best.
You're not. You don't look sick.
Oh my goodness. I feel like a truck hit me. So you guys, thank you for putting up with all my sniffles and the coughing and stuff today. I will try to do my best to be better tomorrow.
And tomorrow will just be 15 minutes later than normal.
That's it. Yeah, we're going to have 3 days where we're just, that's it. So tomorrow is at 8:15 Eastern, 7:15 Central. And you guys have a great, great day. And we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye, everybody.
Hello, beautiful people. This is the Chicks on the Right's Indian correspondent. Thank you for watching or listening. Be very sure to like, subscribe, and ring the bell to stay up to date on all of their delicious content. Okay, thank you. Come again.